Hey neighbors, Brent here with your daily prayer challenge. We are on day 30 of our 40 days through Mark Batterson's Draw the Circle prayer challenge. And again, we're taking this challenge all the way to September 23rd in our groundbreaking. It is just 10 days away. So excited about that. Today's topic for the reading was Abide in Me from John chapter 15, verse 7. If my words abide in you. And this is a part of a bigger text around Jesus being the vine and us being the branches. And if we would abide in God's presence, abide in the presence of Jesus, that we would bear much fruit. Apart from Jesus, we can do nothing. And so if abiding in the presence of God means we bear much fruit, then why in the world would we not want to abide in His presence? Well, sometimes I think it's because the instant gratification of the world's fruit lures us away. That's a whole nother sermon for another time. The topic that Batterson's trying to get to today is summed up in this. He talked in the very beginning about the way that a young Jewish boy would end up becoming a rabbi or a follower of a rabbi. And he says that a rabbi would find those who wanted to follow Jesus, our rabbi, wanting us to follow him. And following meant this: inherent with the invitation from the rabbi was an understanding that it meant total surrender, complete devotion. It meant taking that rabbi's yoke on yourself. The yoke represented the sum total of a rabbi's philosophy and practice. It meant spending every waking moment with him. It meant going where he went, doing what he did, listening to everything he said. Now, this last sentence, it meant going where he went, doing whatever he did, listening to everything he said. I'm doing my session today in the weight room at the Christian Academy, partly because it's the quietest room in here right now, but also to prove a quick point. I could stand in this place where weights are. I could even have student athletes in here lifting weights all around me. I could be very much in the presence of a weight room and not get any stronger. In fact, if I sat here for the rest of the afternoon in the presence of the weights, I would definitely not get any stronger. So the rest of the sentence, not just spending every moment where he goes, but doing whatever he did, listening to everything he said, it would require, if I want to be stronger in the Lord, to do the things that the Lord did. If I want to be more well-versed in the ways of Jesus and the things that Jesus said, I've got to find those words in the scriptures. I've got to memorize them. I've got to put them into my heart so that when I'm interacting with people, I can speak to them words of kindness and truth. When I'm around people, I can do as Jesus did, to be a place of healing, a word of hope. The presence of Christ in someone's midst. It's not good enough just to be in the presence of Jesus, but to abide in Jesus means to also do what he did and say what he said. In short, I had a really interesting experience last night. I was on our property looking at all the trees that had fallen, and as I left the property, my wife and son and I and some friends from our church on the golf cart, I bumped into a very large African-American man. And he told me that he was there to help clear some of the trees out. He asked me who I was, and I told him I was the pastor. And he said, "Yes, you are. You are the pastor, and the Lord sent you to this place." And then he goes on to say, "How much land do you have here, Pastor?" I told him about 13 acres. He says, "You need to go buy some more." And he went on to begin quoting words from Scripture, talking about how those who would be faithful to God, that would bring peace to God's people, that there would be prosperity, that God's people would just be drawn to that kind of a place, to that sort of a presence, that all of us long for peace. And if we could create a place for peace on that corner of our property, that many would come, that the land we currently have wouldn't be big enough to hold all of those who would come running to be in the presence of Jesus. That's the kind of people we seek to become. That's the kind of place that we're hoping to build there at that corner. But it's going to require that I and you make a decision every day to abide in the presence of Jesus, not just to be near him, but to do what he did and to say the things he said. That's our challenge for today, and it's a big challenge, but I want to encourage you to do it today. I'll be back with you tomorrow on Friday, and in the meantime, have a great rest of your Thursday. God bless you. Bye-bye.